Thomas and the Snowman. Winter time had come to the island of Sodor. Snow lay all over the Fat Controller's railway. The engines had to work hard through the snow while they delivered their trains. Some had to deliver trucks of coal, some had to deliver logs, and Gordon was taking passengers on board the express. Henry and James were doing their best to help. The engines may not like the snow, but they know that they can smile whenever they see the children playing in it. One day, Thomas was puffing along his branch line, pulling his coaches Annie and Clarabelle. Thomas wasn't enjoying himself. His snowplough was heavy, and he didn't like wearing it at all. "Why do I have to wear my snowplough?" he grumbled. "Can't I just go on without it?" "It's for your own safety," said his driver firmly. "We don't want another accident, do we?" "For your own safety, for your own safety," shouted Annie and Clarabelle. Thomas didn't like it when his coaches sided with his driver on certain occasions, but he didn't know what else to say next. Then Thomas approached a big field. It was covered in snow and full of children. Thomas stopped beside the field and looked all around. He could see the children having lots of fun. The children were riding on sledges, playing snowballs, and even making snow angels. All around the field, Thomas could see lots and lots of snowmen. He had never seen so many snowmen. Then he looked in amazement. Nearby was a snowman with a black coat, a scarf, and a black top hat. It looked like the Fat Controller. Thomas was a bit puzzled. "Why is the Fat Controller standing there in the field?" he thought to himself. "Come on, Thomas," called his driver. "We must go on. We've got a timetable to keep." Thomas whistled goodbye to the children and set off on his way. Thomas made his way to the next station, but he was still puzzled. "It's not like the Fat Controller to stand out there in the field on his own," Thomas thought to himself. "I had better tell Lady Hatt right away." He was very worried indeed. Soon he arrived at Tidmouth Station, where Toby was waiting. Toby was waiting for Thomas's passengers. "Hello, Thomas," smiled Toby. Then he saw that Thomas was looking worried. "What's the matter?" he asked. Thomas told Toby about the Fat Controller standing all on his own in a field. Toby was surprised to hear this. "Why is the Fat Controller there?" he asked. "I don't know," said Thomas, "but Lady Hatt will be very worried." Toby agreed. "Lady Hatt will be coming to the station later," said Toby. "We can tell her then." Then an idea came to Thomas. "If you see Lady Hatt first, will you tell her?" he asked Toby. "I'll ask her too if I see her first." Toby thought this was a good idea. "We must let her know," he puffed. Then the guard blew his whistle, Toby rang his bell, and then puffed away. Thomas watched as Toby left the station. Thomas was hoping that they would find Lady Hatt. "I wonder how the Fat Controller is doing in the field," he wondered. He was lucky his driver didn't hear him say it. Then, when all of Toby's passengers were on board, the guard blew his whistle and Thomas set off out of the station. As Thomas puffed along the line, he then had a sudden thought. "The Fat Controller will be cold," he thought. "He'll be hungry as well. We'd better help keep him warm." Then Thomas saw a red signal at the junction up ahead. "Botheration!" he puffed. His driver put on the brake and Thomas stopped. "I hope I'm not here for too long," he said. "Be patient," said his driver. "We'll be on our way again soon." Thomas hoped so too. He didn't like standing around. Then he heard a whistle. It was Rosie. She was pulling a goods train to Tidmouth Station. Thomas was pleased to see her. He whistled loudly to her. "Stop, Rosie, please," he called. Rosie heard this and called to her driver, telling him they needed to stop. "I wonder what the problem is," wondered Rosie's driver. So he put on the brakes and Rosie came to a stop beside Thomas.
"Hello, Thomas,"
peeped Rosie.
"What's up?"
"Rosie, I need your help," said Thomas. "What's the problem?" asked Rosie. Thomas told Rosie all about the fat controller in the snowy field. Rosie couldn't believe what she had heard. "The fat controller will be getting cold and hungry," puffed Thomas. "We must help him keep warm." "Of course I'll help, Thomas," smiled Rosie. "We must all help the fat controller." "Thank you, Rosie," smiled Thomas. Rosie was just about to puff away when Thomas remembered Lady Hatt. "Rosie, if you see Lady Hatt at Tidmouth Station, please tell her about the fat controller," Thomas added quickly. "I will, Thomas," agreed Rosie. "I'll tell her when I see her." Rosie whistled goodbye to Thomas and she set off with her train. Then the signal changed to green and Thomas set off on his way again. "Hooray, we're off again, we're off again," sang the coaches. Must be on time, puffed Thomas. Meanwhile, Toby was approaching Callan's station. He saw Stanley there with a train of vans. Stanley was collecting some rolls, bread, crumpets and many other bakery products from a bakery van. Toby stopped at the station to let off his passengers. Toby was relieved to have a chance to rest his wheels. Stanley was pleased to see Toby. "Hello, Toby," smiled Stanley. "How is your day going?" "I'm very worried about the fat controller at the moment," said Toby. "Why?" asked Stanley. He was puzzled. "The fat controller is standing on his own in the snowy field," explained Toby. "Thomas saw him there earlier, and we all need to tell Lady Hatt." Now Stanley was worried. "But what can we do to help the fat controller?" puffed Stanley. Both engines thought about this for a moment. Then Stanley had an idea. "I could give him some of my crumpets from my trucks," he suggested. "That way he'll have something to eat." Toby smiled at his friend. "Excellent, Stanley," he said. "We'll go and deliver the crumpets together." Stanley agreed. "I'll be ready in a couple of minutes," he puffed. At Tidmouth Station, Lady Hatt was waiting on the platform. She was waiting for her train. Then she saw Rosie puff into the station. Rosie had just finished shunting her trucks. She was relieved to see Lady Hatt. "Am I glad to see you?" wished Rosie. "That's very nice of you," smiled Lady Hatt. Rosie took a deep breath. "You've got to come with me right away," said Rosie. "It's the fat controller." "What about him?" asked Lady Hatt. Rosie told Lady Hatt what Thomas had said. Lady Hatt was shocked when she heard this. "That's ridiculous," she said. "So Topham is in his office doing his paperwork." Rosie was puzzled when she heard this. "But he is, Mum," she puffed. "I'll prove it. Come with me and I'll show you." Lady Hatt didn't want to argue, but then she decided to go with Rosie. She climbed into her cab and Rosie set off back to the field. Thomas was on his way back to the field too. His driver had collected a big coach from the station master at Knapford Station. "Why do we need this big coach for?" asked his driver. "You'll see," said Thomas. "We're nearly there." When Thomas arrived there, he could see Toby and Stanley were already there waiting. Both engines were pleased to see Thomas. "You were right, Thomas," exclaimed Toby. "The fat controller does look cold." "We brought some crumpets for him to eat," said Stanley. "And I've got a big coat to help keep him warm," put in Thomas. Just then Rosie puffed up alongside Thomas. "Here we are," puffed Rosie. "He's over there in the field. Go and look for yourself, please." Lady Hatt climbed down from the train and went to have a look. But before she could say anything, they heard her voice. "What's going on here?" It was the fat controller. He wasn't happy at all. The engines couldn't believe what they were seeing. "I'm seeing double!" cried Stanley. "Two fat controllers?" gasped Toby. "Where did you come from?" asked Rosie. "I came from Knapford Station," boomed the fat controller. "I was enjoying my nice tea when I heard that all four of you were behaving strangely. Now," he went on, "what is going on here?" The engines gulped. They didn't know what to say. Thomas knew he had to explain. "It's my fault, sir," he explained. "I saw you standing in the field on your own today, and I was puzzled to understand why you were standing there all on your own. So we all wanted to help you keep warm and make sure you were all right."
"What are you talking about?"
asked the Fat Controller. "You were standing over there when I passed the field this morning," Thomas put in. Thomas showed him a snowman in a black coat, scarf and top hat. The Fat Controller looked and saw for himself. When he returned, he was sniggering.
"Thomas, you've been fooled," he chuckled. "That isn't me at all. It's just a snowman."
All the engines looked. The Fat Controller removed the top hat to reveal a white head of the snowman. Thomas felt very silly. His face went red and his steam gently blew from his wheels.
"How could you mistake me for a snowman?"
asked the Fat Controller.
"Sure, it may look like me, but if you try talking to him, you'll get no reply."
All the engines now knew the Fat Controller was right.
"This is the snowman Stephen and Bridget made to show me," the Fat Controller went on. "They wanted to show me this snowman today, but I had to complete my work in the office before I could see it."
Then Stephen and Bridget arrived. They were pleased to see their grandfather.
"Great, you're here,"
smiled Bridget.
"What do you think of our snowman?"
asked Stephen.
"I think it's wonderful," smiled the Fat Controller, "and he's certainly lifelike."
And he told them all about Thomas's mistake. Stephen and Bridget laughed.
"It's not like you to mistake our grandfather for a snowman,"
laughed Bridget. Thomas's cheeks went red, but all the engines felt sorry for him.
"Can we still give some of this crumpets to the snowman?"
asked Stanley.
"Don't be silly,"
chuckled Lady Hatt.
"Snowmen don't eat crumpets."
All the engines chuckled.
"Well, what a day it's been,"
smiled Rosie.
"It seems we have all been fooled by a snowman in a top hat."
Then a strong gust of wind blew the top hats from the snowman and landed on Thomas's boiler. The engines all looked at Thomas.
"I say,"
pondered Stephen,
"that hat really does suit you." "What a shame you're not the controller of the railway,"
teased Bridget. "We'll have to make sure we don't mistake you for the Fat Controller," put in Toby.
"Otherwise we won't know who to take orders from,"
sniggered Rosie. All the engines laughed and laughed, and so did the Fat Controller and Lady Hatt. Thomas smiled cheerfully as he looked at the snowman. "You won't fool me again," he said to himself. "I don't think he ever will. Do you?"